My first thought, as always, seems to go something like this. I want to make this video, and I find it quite difficult to express properly. And I say that a lot if you've noticed over the times. So I wanted to explain why that is. There's a lot of concepts in this video that I want to bring to the forefront. And that is, one, love is a major, if not the single attribute required if you want to become God enlightened. Now, you don't necessarily need it to become enlightened like Buddha initially was, but you certainly have to become enlightened to the point of view that Jesus was. And so I was contemplating this concept for weeks now, well, probably years. But for the past few weeks, I'd been contemplating it, which is why I never even made a video last week, because I just couldn't figure out a way to express it. And then I saw on TV or a video or something, this James Webb telescope, they call it, that they sent 1 million miles from Earth to send back information that they were not able to actually get with the Hubble telescope. And so I listened to what they were talking about, and then it hit me. Okay, now I understand how to present the difficult concept of why it's so difficult to give direction or teaching or whatever it is to people that are desirous to learn, if you will. I mean, it comes across as secret, sacred. It comes across as mystery, mysterious. It comes across as a lot of things to people that are not yet enlightened. And it is very confusing to them. It is very... They get frustrated because they'll listen to different gurus teaching things. And of course, the problem is almost all of them are not enlightened. And some of them may even think they're enlightened, but they're not. But for the most part, almost all of them are not. Well educated, I'll give you that, in regards to the Vedas and this and that. But so what? That doesn't mean they're enlightened. So getting back to this James Webb telescope, it's 1 million miles from Earth because there's too much interference on Earth and around Earth from light and this and that and everything else to be able to see what they want to see with their different spectrometers and all of the equipment that they have on this super technical telescope. So they already kind of surmised what they wanted to see. That's how they invented the telescope, to be able to see what what they surmise is out there, but they actually have never observed it. Mathematically and otherwise, they come up with these theories and they go, well, it's got to be there, but we really can't get any further unless we actually observe it and observe what it's doing. And then we'll be able to extrapolate from that and to gain further knowledge, scientifically speaking. But that's what a guru is. That's what an enlightened guru is. He's like that James Webb telescope that's 1,000,000 miles away. The difference being is he's got to be in two places at a time. So, spiritually speaking, he's 1,000,000 miles away. He's kind of aloof to what's happening here in this world. But he can't be of any good to anyone on this planet if he can't transfer that signal he is picking up, or she is picking up from 1,000,000 miles away, and translating it here to you. But the transmission is crystal clear to the guru only. And the guru is required to use language to be able to tell you what's going on. And language is a horrible, horrible, horrible medium from which to transfer knowledge compared to actual experiential truth. So, where does love come in? Love comes in on both parts. Whether you realize it or not, it's a given that the guru, be it Jesus, be it Buddha, whoever, that individual already loves you, or they would not be talking to you. They would not be giving you any kind of information, because a real enlightened guru isn't in it for money, power, prestige. They're only in it because they love you. And that's the only reason. Now, it is incumbent upon the seeker to, in return, have the pure love in their heart and soul for the guru. But what is love? That is the pivotal question. What is love? Love cannot be explained properly. It can be explained, but not properly, because we're using language. And I would assume a lot of you, or most of you, have studied psychology, and you know what a sociopath is, or a psychopath, or a demon, but obviously psychologists can't use the word demon because they're unaware of such a thing, so they can only focus upon sociopaths and psychopaths, which are actually the same thing damn near. Well, you can use all the language in the world, and they're never going to understand what love is. They are incapable of understanding what love is using words. So do you see how, from your perspective, if you're not enlightened already, it doesn't matter how many words a guru uses, you're not going to understand enlightenment. Because like this sociopath or the psychopath that's incapable of feeling love or understanding what love is, to the same degree, you cannot understand the unenlightened guru what enlightenment is. But how do you bridge the gap, and how do you go from here to here? How do you get this 1 million miles to the James Webb Telescope? How do you get that information from here to here when you are never, 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 never going to be here? Well, I mean, until you're enlightened. How are you gonna get there? I mean, because you're like blindfolded and you don't know what direction to go. That's where love comes in. Love is true love. It manifests in the human body. They say the heart region. It manifests, and it's a feeling that is in the heart region, and it goes to the head. That is a byproduct of love. That's not love. That's a byproduct of love. It's just like, well, I won't go there. I was going to say something else, but so what are the attributes of pure love? Pure trust. Trust and faith. Unfailing trust and faith. If you have an enlightened guru that you're speaking to or communicating with, and your attitude, and I get this a lot, by the way, on the videos I make from people, as well as in real life that I deal with, you get a lot of people who all they want to do is prove that they're smarter than you are, or they're better than you are, or maybe they have an issue with someone that says, oh, I know what this is, and this is, and so they argue with you, or they fight with you, or they say, you don't know what you're talking about. If you have that attitude, I can assure you right now, you will never, ever, ever, until that attitude is gone, you will never bridge the gap from this physical realm to enlightenment 1 million miles away. You're never going to get there. You cannot get there on your own. It's not possible. It requires absolute trust, absolute faith, and absolute love to get there. Because what happens is the enlightened guru is going to question and answer, comes back and forth, question and answer. And the guru might not have all the answers. If you think the guru has all the answers, meaning the guru tells you they have all the answers, just ask, you should probably seek guidance elsewhere, because anyone that says they know everything, that's a clear sign that they're in it for who knows what reason, but they're certainly not an enlightened guru. The hallmark of an enlightened guru is someone that has for their entire life said, I don't have all the answers. I don't know. Show me. What can I do to learn this? What can I do to learn that? And the reason love is so necessary is because it's so hard to give up what you think is real, to grasp something that you're being told and you're thinking that can't be right. That just can't be right. What the Guru is saying is that isn't right. It can't be. And then when it gets to that point, because you, the person, you're always wrong. Because if you weren't always wrong, you would already be fully enlightened, like Jesus. But if you aren't, that means you're wrong. And you've been wrong a lot. Now, we can change the word from wrong to ignorant. We can change the word from ignorant to not knowing. Or we can change the word not knowing to uneducated. I don't care what word you affix to it. But you have to have this unfailing trust and love. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to give up your current understandings of what reality is. I've heard it said many times, whether or not it's true, I mean, Jesus would prove that it isn't true, but I've heard it said that you cannot know the true meaning of love until you have your own children and you love them so much that you would sacrifice everything for them. Well, that's an aspect of love, but Jesus didn't have children, and he clearly had love. But he could look at it as his children were you, everybody that's alive. And he sacrificed everything for you and me and everybody. But that's one of the hallmarks of love. That's one of the telltale signs. So maybe I'll get back to that. But another concept I was thinking about, and this is not part of that subject, but a couple nights ago, I walked out to get the mail at night, and when I was walking back, I looked up at the full moon. And I took a picture of it, and hopefully I'll post it in this video. But I was contemplating the troubles in the world right now with, oh my gosh, just hideous world leaders doing such hideous things to the population of the world, forcing their will upon everyone. Likewise, and those that are on the side of these leaders just think that it's their prerogative to force their will upon everyone else in the name of health. And so the world's in such turmoil. And I looked up at the moon, and in an instant, I realized how crazy it is. I mean, the moon was beautiful. Life could be beautiful, but it isn't. But it is only not beautiful to people that love God. If you love power, if you love Satan, then this is a beautiful world. This is not my home. It's like that James Webb telescope. I'm 1,000,000 miles from here. Well, an infinity miles from here. And I have to live in this environment because I have a body here. But in reality, people get so upset and go, it isn't fair, or we need justice, or, you know, the list goes on how we got to make the world a better place and blah, blah, blah. But what is really going on here is that this is the kingdom of Satan, Shiva. And this is what eternal reality is, what they think it is. You get powerful and more rich, and you exercise your power and strength and will over others. It's survival of the fittest, etc., etc. But that's not the way it is for those that love God. That's not the way it is at all. It's hard for me to speak about that because it just is. I'll cover that in another video. But maybe I'll cut this video short, and I just wanted to... This won't be the last one. I'm giving it some thought about this godly love type thing, because it really is the key. Cultivating that kind of love is the key. And one last thing I was thinking about, because this is really, really, really important. A lot of times people think, well, what's the ratio of enlightened gurus as versus unenlightened or charlatans or whatever? Well, I don't know what the ratio is. 1,000 to 1. I mean, it's pretty lopsided. But so what? That doesn't mean you shouldn't. I mean, it's not going to harm you to have trust and faith and love. And at some point in time, you're going to get to the point where, you know what? This guru does not deserve my trust, faith, and love anymore. They've betrayed me. They did something that I don't feel is right. And if that's the case, you need to move on. Don't hang around there anymore. But a lot of times, when you find the right one, you're going to be offended. And you're going to get upset by the things they say. Because it's required, by the way, because you can't go from point A to point B without getting offended. But if you can detect love from the teacher, the guru, then continue. Because it really doesn't matter. I mean, this isn't a one-way thing. For instance, again, it's triangular, actually, kind of. It doesn't matter if the guru is not enlightened. You have the Creator God. You remember the thing in the Bible that says, if two or more are gathered in my name, I will be there. That's what is attributed to Jesus. Well, what does he mean by I'll be there? Well, clearly he's not there in the physical sense, but he is there in the spiritual sense. And so it's like that telescope sending signals from a million miles away to the earth. Well, so you can have Jesus as your guru, or you could have Brahma, God, the God that Jesus prayed to, as your guru. He doesn't have to be here in the physical form. He can be in the spiritual form where that you can't see with your, unless you have your third eye open, so to say. You can't see. But that doesn't mean he isn't there. If you have the love and faith and trust that he is there, then you might be able to get that triangular effect through almost any guru. It doesn't have to be a fully enlightened guru. Because any guru that's good is going to be able to guide you through the Vedic scriptures, through the Bible, through whatever you happen to be studying at the time, and they will be able to help you understand, or and even if it's wrong, for instance, it doesn't matter, because as long as you have the faith, love, and trust, and the guru also, you've got that third invisible God, if you will, that will be part of that. And you'll be getting the signals directly to your spirit from that God. But you can't get it without love. You have to have that. And that God will not abandon you. Think about Buddha sitting under the tree before he became enlightened. He spoke to every guru in India at the time, practically. Went to all over the place for a decade or more before he gave up. And so how did he become enlightened? Well, I can certainly guarantee you he didn't do it on his own. He had help. He had help from God. Even though he doesn't acknowledge God initially. And that's because he was unaware of how his enlightenment came into being until he was at the end of his life. Anyways, thank you very much for watching, and I love you, and I hope the best for you. And I'll be talking more about this subject in the future. See you later. Bye.